Okay, guys, we're going to talk about sine and cosine functions. So this is going to be something that's kind of new to us. What's going to be something that's really new to us? So these values down here are coming off of our angles in radians. We're going to deal with angles in radians. And I'm going to use the really obvious ones first. And then as I go forward, it should make a little bit more sense. We'll see what happens. But the really obvious ones are pi over 6, pi over 4. Well, that needs to be a uniform movement, so I'm not going to do that. Pi over 3, pi over 2. That's 3 over 6. 4 over 6 is 2 pi over 3. 5 pi over 6. Pi. 7 pi over 6. 8 pi over 6 is 4 pi over 3. 9 pi over 6 is 3 pi over 2. And I'm going to do the same thing in the negative direction, okay? So I'm going to do the cosine function first, okay? The cosine function, which would be f of theta equals the cosine of theta, okay? So thetas are these guys right here. These are my angles. I know some of these really easily. Like, I know the cosine of 0 is 1. I know that one for sure, right? Because when I'm on my graph at 0, I'm at 1. So these are going to be in units of, I'm going to go in units of 1/2. So at 0, I'm at 1. And then I know that when I'm at the cosine of pi over 6, I'm at the square root of 3 over 2, which is going to be really hard to graph, so I'm going to skip over that one. When I'm at pi over 3, I'm at 1/2. When I'm at pi over 2, I'm at 0. When I'm at 2 pi over 3, I'm at negative 1/2. When I'm at pi, I'm at negative 1. When I'm at pi, I'm at negative 1. Yes. When I'm at 4 pi over 3, I'm at 0 again. So I'm kind of going like this, okay? So my graph, what my graph is going to do is it's going to go like this. And then it's going to keep going with that same pattern over and over and over and over and over. So it's going to go like this, and then it's going to keep going like this and like this and like this. It's going to do the same thing in the negative direction. So if I go in the negative direction, I'm going to get right here, right here, right here. So I'm going to kind of go like this. And I'm just using the information that I know off of the unit circle to do this guy. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. I'm going to talk a lot about this in class when you come to class. So don't worry about this too much, okay? I'm also going to do the sine function. So f of x, I'm going to do that. F of x equals, no, f of theta, I apologize, equals the sine of theta, okay? I'm going to do that guy right here so that I don't have to redraw my thetas. So this is 0, 0. This is the origin. So I know that the sine of 0 pi is 0. So I'm going to start at 0. I know that the sine of pi over 2 is 1. The sine of pi, again, 0. The sine of 3 pi over 2 is negative 1. And it's just going to continue that pattern over and over and over and over and over. So it's going to go like this. Over and over and over and over, okay? And so it's doing the same thing that essentially that the cosine function is, just they're kind of shifted a little bit side to side from each other. And we'll talk a lot more about this in class, but I just want you to have a basic understanding of what this little guy is going to look like.